What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, and I'm back at y'all with another one. So, Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn accidentally reveals and paints the picture that the former unified IBF WBA Ring Magazine welterweight world champion, now junior middleweight title contender, the Phenom as I refer to him as, Jaron Boots Ennis, avoided a showdown with Mexican superstar title contender and WBC junior middleweight interim champion, Virgil Ortiz Jr. Virgil Ortiz Jr. is 23 wins, no losses, no draw, 21 wins by way of knockout. Jaron Ennis is 34 wins, no loss and no draw, 30 wins by way of knockout. Jaron Boots Ennis fought Ennis in his last fight at welterweight to unify the belts. He stopped him in the 5th round. And Jaron Boots Ennis made it clear that he physically can't make 147 pounds, so he's moving up to 154. There was a lot of chatter. They've been on the same track on the collision course, Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz, for years. So Virgil Ortiz and his team, it was widely speculated and reported, including myself, that when they was both at 147, Virgil Ortiz was ducking Jaron Ennis. You had his trainer, well-renowned trainer of the year, multi-time trainer of the year, future Hall of Famer, and former world champion, Robert Garcia, who made the statement that they needed 48 months before they fought Jaron Boots Ennis, which is 4 years. It's 12 months in a year. So that led the conversation that Virgil Ortiz didn't want this fight. So Virgil Ortiz moves up because of health reasons and health scares, that he thought that his career was actually over. Virgil Ortiz moves up to 154 pounds because he was supposed to fight Ennis multiple times, but wasn't able to because he had issues with his health and trying to make the weight. So he eventually moved up in weight, right? Had a few tough fights at 154 pounds. He had the fight with Serha Boachuk, which I thought he actually lost that fight. Serha Boachuk, he got dropped twice in the fight. But nonetheless, he got the nod. He got the victory, right? And then he fought Israel Majamov, who Terrence Crawford beat for the title. And he had an entertaining fight, but he won the fight. I thought he was going to lose the fight, but Majamov had a sickness. But nonetheless, he won the fight. And he's looking for Jaron Ennis now. And Jaron Ennis turned down the opportunity to fight Virgil Ortiz so he could stay at 47 and fight Ennis. He stated that before he moved up, he wanted to officially win a title at 147 because he was elevated to the IBF champion once Terrence Crawford vacated the belts, and he never beat a champion for the belt. So he fought Stanionis, unified the belts, and beat Stanionis. And he took that fight over taking a fight with Virgil Ortiz. Well, after that, he said he wanted to unify the belts against Brian Norman. Brian Norman, they offered the fight to Brian Norman. Brian Norman had a fight against Jin Sasaki June 19th. They offered the fight to him in May or early June, and they said, okay, Brian Norman said, okay, we'll sign the deal to fight Jaron Ennis in a unification, okay, after we beat Jin Sasaki. So June 20th, we'll sign the contract. Then Jaron Ennis on June 18th announces that he physically can't make the weight. Now, keep in mind, they asked Brian Norman, they're not on the same page and they're making Jaron Ennis look bad. Or I said this before, Jaron Ennis needs to take control of his career. He needs to address these situations because it's looking bad for him. So Jaron Ennis is saying that physically, health-wise, he can't make the weight, right? So he got to move up in weight because the doctors told him he performing at 30% of his capabilities because of the weight. So the doctors told him that his physical health is hindering him from performing above 30% of his natural abilities. So he's moving up to 54. He announced the movement on YSM, shouts out to YSM, that he's moving up to 154. The day before Brian Norman fought Jin Sasaki, June 18th. So if you was offering a fight to Brian Norman for September, October, or November, and then you say you went to the doctor and they told you that your performance was being hindered by your weight cut, then you was already feeling lingering effects before you even offered Brian Norman Jr. the fight to begin with. The reason why you went to the doctor. So why did you offer Brian Norman a fight? Now, it gets even more shaky. Now, Eddie Hearn says that and confirms that Jaron Ennis wants a tune-up. But in the same breath, he says that they was offered the fight against Virgil Ortiz for August 16th by His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. But they accepted the fight for August 16th. Now get this. They accepted the fight for August 16th. No tune-ups. But then Virgil Ortiz had the hand injury, so Virgil said that he'll be ready in November and not August, right? So His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh wanted to do it for August, right? He wanted to put a big card on for August. So then Virgil says physically his hand, he had to have surgery. He needs it to be later date. So Turki said, okay, the November card. Jaron Ennis is saying that, now Eddie Hearn is saying that they accepted for August, but now that they want it in November, Jaron Ennis wants a tune-up instead of fighting him in November. But get this, is going to fight in October. What? So he says we have a tune-up already. So he's saying that they have a fight lined up. With who? With who? Because this is July 27th. So if you gonna fight in October, you could just wait and fight Virgil in November. You don't need a tune-up. If you're gonna agree to fight Virgil in August, then you don't need a tune-up. You wasn't looking for a tune-up. So now Virgil says, I need it in November, but you told Brian Norman you wanted to fight September, October, or November. Which means you don't mind waiting until November. So if you don't mind waiting until November, then why do you need a tune-up in October if you agreed to fight Virgil in August when Virgil is saying we could fight in November? And Turki is saying I'll put it on November. Why would you do a tune-up if you don't need a tune-up for Virgil? This is not making sense at all. At all whatsoever. It's not making any sense at all whatsoever. It's contradictions. If you agreed to fight Virgil without a tune-up in August, and Virgil says his hand is injured, he could fight in November, and Turki offers you to fight in November on a big card, why would you say you need a tune-up now? So did you agree to fight Virgil in August? Because that makes no sense if you're looking for a tune-up. And if you said you was going to fight Brian Norman October and November, then you could fight Virgil in November. And if you're saying that you coming back to do a tune-up in October, you could wait one more month and fight in November. Make it make sense, P. Peoples, my peopleizations, this is not making any sense. And it's just making Jaron Boots Ennis look bad. It's just making him look bad at this point. It makes zero sense. Zero sense. If you want to fight a tune-up in October, but you agreed to fight Virgil in August without a tune-up, then you can wait until November and fight Virgil Ortiz in November without a tune-up. Then he says we need a plan. People don't understand that Jaron Ennis needs a plan before he just jumps into deep water at 154. But how did you agree to fight Virgil at 154 in August? If you agreed to fight Virgil Ortiz in August without a tune-up, then why are you telling the people that you need a plan to get acclimated after Virgil said he was injured, so you never really wanted to fight Virgil Ortiz to begin with? You was pump faking. And with Brian Norman, you said October, November. So with Brian Norman, you was going to pull out that fight. If Brian Norman would have signed to fight Jaron Ennis when they asked him to, Jaron Ennis would have pulled out the fight because he wasn't feeling well, right? That's why he went to the doctor to see what was wrong, and they told him that his health is being hindered by cutting the weight, so that's why he announced the move up. So if he would have signed when they asked him, Brian Norman that is, then Jaron Ennis would have pulled out the fight, right? This is not making any sense at all. At all, whatsoever. And it's making him look bad. He's 28 years old and don't have a marquee fight. It's time. I mean, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think, man. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. It's your boy Blue signing off. I'm gone. Peace.